And we're live with what could be the final series of games today, as this is the grand finals featuring Risky Behavior versus the Burly Men. We've got a best of three series on our hands here with the Burly Men coming off strong after the last two wins, and Risky Behavior, well, they've had a long road up here, and they just beat one of the teams that actually beat one of the top seeded teams, Inverse Esports, on their way up here. So Nilum, we're a pretty big thing to overcome. So Risky Behavior, they've got a shot at the top 8 here. As this could be a big win for them.
Yeah, they definitely have shown that they can do a very good job. Neelam, of course, being what we thought, as we talked about in the back, the back room, I guess we would call it, of what
we thought they'd be in the final.
Yeah, we thought that they would actually make it to the finals after beating one of the top contenders of the typical NA lineup. But going back into this game, this final set of Risky Behavior versus Burly Men, the bans come out. Isis and Geb on the side of Risky Behavior, and of course Burly Men ban out Hell and Kepri, leaving Risky Behavior highlighting a Serqet, but instead electing to lock in Sun Wukong. Not very surprising there. Of course, he's still a very strong pick, who is elusive and very hard to deal with in lane.
Yeah, and that Bluestone ended up pushing him over that edge to that incredibly potent tier where, I don't know, if he's up for one of those first picks, he's usually going to get locked in as the sole laner here. Especially whenever your solo laner knows how to play him quite effectively. Pomponius, now actually the solo laner for Risky Behavior, I believe, as he was the former mid laner for Team Resist here, so that's a nice little pickup there for them, as he's definitely worthy of being that top 10 player in Masters. Meanwhile, Burly Men, they're looking into a Janus some rotation power here, but a Freya instead hovered on for the late game prowess for Lou's carry here. They've also got their Junipera pickup here, but I don't see them picking up a support this early, unless they do lock in what they've hovered. There we go. Athena and Ho-Yi locked in for the Burly Men.
Very interesting team composition rounding out so far from Burly Men. It looks like a very kind of team fight oriented pickup just based on the Athena and Ho-Yi. But Risky Behavior picking up two, again, really strong picks, Janus and Serqet. So while I do like the idea that I think Burly Men are going for, Risky Behavior has all the top tier picks so far, with the exception of the Athena support.
The Athena support is going to be the one thing they're going to be lacking, but even then, Risky Behavior, they've got Janus, they've got Serqet, they've got so much rotation power, so much mobility in the jungle here. Burly Men are going to be in for a rough road here. Awilix is locked in for that third pickup going into this next ban phase. Jungler locked off the table for them. They need to be looking towards an ADC or a support ban here as a Risky Behavior. They've got so many options from the table that they could honestly pick up anything here, and I don't think any of Burly Men's bans can really affect that too much, as they have so many options with their top tier picks here.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of build a team around those kind of picks. If you have a top tier pick, it makes the rest of your drafting really easy just because, well, that pick alone is going to carry this amount of distance. So let's go ahead and just build something that can make that distance either further or take the baton from it once it reaches the end of its usefulness. But Risky Behavior is still waiting to decide on what they want to ban out. Meanwhile, Burly Men have banned out Xeblanque, so wanting to take that away, and Risky Behavior actually going to elect to ban out Poseidon, so not feeling comfortable in the Poseidon versus Janus matchup. However, this is a matchup we haven't seen, the Nox versus Janus matchup.
She's an oddball here. She's kind of fallen into favor of the competitive viability. She has still been a very solid god in like some casual queues, maybe occasionally in ranked as well, but Nox, not a god who we see picked up in competitive all that much ever since her kit redesign. And I mean, she's a bit wonky at times, but Nox has an insanely high damage potential if you can consistently land the abilities out of her. But Risky Behavior, they've got so many options here that I'm not sure it's going to be enough here, as Freya locked in for FaymousHate.
Freya and Sylvanus, so again, just an all-around nightmare team composition. I can honestly say that if I saw this in a ranked queue, I'd be spamming that nice GG emote, because it is looking pretty rough on the other side.
This is a really, really good draft by Risky Behavior, and I honestly have to say this straight out, Burly Men might have just gotten out-drafted beyond recovery at this point, as well, they've got a shot here, but this is going to be a very, very uphill game for them. But hovering the Cabrakan, and I'm not sure how I feel about this one in this team comp. I'm going to turn to you, the expert here, Shadow Boy. Is this a Cabrakan comp?
A little bit. I mean, it's a Cabrakan comp in a lot of ways. It can do very well, but I just feel like against the team comp they're having to face, not really going to be all that effective. Now, however, this is a team that can snowball. Burly Men has a team comp that can snowball very easily. Like, no questions asked. We already saw last game where, one team far outdid the other one just because of ISIS play. So if we can see a repeat of that kind of event, yeah, Repap could potentially take this game and just completely dominate it. And this team comp can do really well under that circumstance, but it's not necessarily going to win out the game from there. I still think that Burly Men have too tall of an order to try and completely outdo their opponents. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, they're going to be incredibly reliant on the snowball, like you said. And the big strength for Risky Behavior here is their team comp functions all around throughout it. And as long as they don't get absolutely crushed in the landing phase, they should have an easy go of this one here. But, well, upsets and surprises have happened before. And hopefully, maybe not. We'll see it again as Risky Behavior. They've got this one pretty strong from pick and ban, but we have to see it in game. So we'll be right back. I am Soza Junipera Shadowboy Gaming. Make sure to stay tuned as we bring you the game soon enough. This is Smite Game Challenger Cup, brought to you by Tier Monster and hi-rez Studios. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a bit. And we are live with, well, the first game of the grand finals featuring the Burly Men facing off against Risky Behavior. Burly Men likely going for, well, the same strategy they've gone for all three games. The production didn't inform us. They could be going for the early Gold Fury again here versus Risky Behavior, and they're going to be very, very much reliant on that early snowball here. So, well, if they want to work that one out, they've got to make that play happen.
I think I would have liked to seen a bit more of an aggressive jungler picked up than if that were the case, which it still very well could be. I just think I would have liked it more of a Athena pick.
Yeah, that would have been very, very nice just pick up here actually, as Janus brings a lot of damage to the early game, a lot of damage also pressure towards the Gold Fury as well. So at the same time, Awilix works out fine. She's got plenty of early game damage, but it's not quite the tier of like a Thanatos we've seen before, or a Thor with his CC and just high damage mix-up very early on in the game.
Yeah, the Awilix kind of indicates that you want to make it to a later stage of the game, and not really snowball, but more so. I mean, now granted, Awilix can snowball, just she's not typically known for doing that off the bat just from one ability. So we'll have to wait and see. Everyone's doing normal starts. No one's really doing anything that interesting. Awilix, Red Pot, Serqet, Red Pot as well.
We're really going to be waiting around the 5 or 10 minute mark for the risky, crazy Gold Fury to come out. So it's going to be interesting to see if Risky Behavior, if they've learned the tricks that Burly Men have been going for here, they're going to try to ward up around that Gold Fury here. That's been one of the big downfalls of teams. They've lost the vision here. XenoTronics, oh, he's in quite a bit of trouble here as the root connector from Knock with just a bit of detonation around the corner. So he's going to take a huge chunk of change off of his health right there. Repap off to a very solid start in his lane right there, and going to tag the mid camps over the wall.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get a little bit of experience and goal from those mid camps. However, the other side is going to go over to Risky Behavior. Dual lane and soul lane, both quiet mid lane. The junglers and mid laners are just going to farm up this wave real quick and then go off to their respective corners and probably do the back harpies.
Yeah, probably the best option here is actually looks like BootyCallJones and Repap want to try to steal something away here. At the same time, dual lane getting a bit risky for the Burly Men here. Lou needs to back away from this. As Wubbn and FaymousHate doing so much work in the dual lane right there. And it's showing right there as Lou already being forced back under his tower right there, sitting quite unhealthily when it comes to health.
In the solo lane, it's just a boxing match between Wukong and Cabrakan. Wukong basically looking for any bit of damage he can get onto the Cabrakan, and as you can see there, just taking every opportunity to use abilities on him and just get that bluestone proc on him.
And that's what you need to be doing here. Just abuse that poke that he has in lane, and just abuse your enemy laner as often as possible. Pucmm definitely suffering for it, and Pomponius playing out this lane incredibly well so far. But otherwise, across the map, both teams mostly just looking for the farm game here. Like I said, we're not going to expect too much explosion until around that 5 or so minute mark when Burly Men will likely want to start looking into that Gold Fury here. But things could go south fast if a bit of CC connects anywhere on the map, because both of these teams have very, very explosive lanes.
Over in the dual lane, though, Awilix thought about trying to make a rotation over there, but didn't find anything available. And this is kind of one of those awkward stages for a jungler where you've got most of your camps cleared with the exception of, like, one camp. And is it really worth it for you to try and just go to that one back harpy camper? Are you going to look for more kill opportunities? Now, granted, there's no actual kill opportunities that can be made. We've already discussed several times the results of overcommitting to a solo lane gank, and then there's also the dual lane, which is very hard to get into with all the CC that a support can give, and the turnaround potential that can be made on you if you do get caught out. But a lot of damage coming out from Nox onto Serqet there.
I mean, if we're going to see anything crazy happen, it's going to be in the mid lane here. As Skeeledon, he's in quite a bit of trouble here. As BootyCallJones actually going to interrupt the back off from Skeeledon right there. So, now Skeeledon being kept pressure in the tower. If Repap finds any tick of damage right there, this could be massive for Burly Men right here. But Skeeledon playing safe and dodging quite effectively so far. But, oh, this just lets the Burly Men get inside the jungle of risky behavior, and well, they're doing a good job at it so far. Mid camp's respawning soon enough here as the Burly Men trying to wait on the rotation here, but risky behavior making the smart rotation, going around the other back camp here. But if Xeno steps out too much, he could be in trouble.
Yeah, I really liked the decision by Awilix there to try and bait out the chase. But hold on here, dual lane first blood's gonna happen here as maybe not. Boy, he is able to survive thanks to a wonderful a wonderful taunt used by Athena. He was spacing time to try and get assistance over into the dual lane. Meanwhile, over in the solo lane, a 1v1 kill onto Cabrakan in favor of Wukong, who's been applying a lot of pressure. They want to try and find the kill onto Wubbn. Are they going to be able to get it is the question. And there it is, the ultimate use. But the Janus portal is going to keep Sylvanus alive and healthy.
And what an incredible portal there out of XenoTronics there through space and time. Also, trying to tag the fleeing Lou right there, but it wasn't nearly enough. But either way, risky behavior off to a solid start, claiming first blood, and well, actually all getting out alive, and what could have been a massive downfall for them right there. I mean, it's not often you sort of have a big rotation like that from mid, and well played by risky behavior.
So right now, risky behavior is getting the lead advantage. They have the Gold Fury, or not, excuse me, the Gold Fury. They have the first blood, and a bit of an experienced lead at about 670, not that much. 900 gold is the differential in terms of that first blood kill, which is actually pretty good considering it was only some Wukong who got the benefit. Nobody was there to get assist gold or anything like that. So it's all around not a bad state of the game. And taking a look at his build, he's actually going from Warrior Tabi, and instead of Jotun's Wrath, afterwards going for Talisman. So he wants to build into that magic protection early, sees the danger potential of Repap as well as Pucmm, and wants to avoid that, as well as Defender of Olympus, of course.
Yeah, and that's probably a good idea to be trying to avoid these right now. So they're going to be the big things you have to avoid having the game swung massively out of your favor here. But either way, until then, we're seeing a bit of a slight reset on this game as risky behavior. They're looking to try to translate some kind of advantage here, and by actually getting one of those early fights here in first blood going in their favor, this is going to enable them to start setting up some extra vision if they opt to go for it. Around, well, what we see Burly Men liking to contest early, they can start setting up around the goal for, but so far they haven't quite set anything up just yet. However, I'm excited to try something here in the next few moments here is now actually Skeeledon going for the fight. Wubbn blinks on him with the Wrath of Terror. Repap already getting away from him though. A huge taunt from Junipera will do work here as Skeeledon getting rooted out. Junipera buying a lot of time but will fall straight into the portal, interrupting the pull actually. Xeno looking for that last shot. He finds the unstable vortex though at the very end of its tail right there. XenoTronics getting the incredibly impressive snipe off of this vortex and a great kill going over in favor of risky behavior.
Risky behavior is still dominating the pacing of this game. They're feeling very confident and very likely to actually get a pretty early goal fury here if the pace keeps up. Over in the solo lane, though, is a little bit more boxing. Solo Island might actually turn into a bit more. 72 transformations into the slow, into the auto attack, boom! That's going to be a dead Pucmm. Pomponius able to find another 1v1 solo kill, but the action continues over in the Gold Fury side jungle. Are they going to really commit on this one? It looks like they are. XenoTronics is forced to use the portal to get out. Serqet has to do the same, and the Awilix jump is not going to be enough to close the distance. However, they did leave behind two teammates who are now stuck in an awkward spot, and they're out of mana, but they do have the space needed to get away. Gold Fury is a tasty treat towards Burly Men, but they don't want it. They don't feel comfortable or confident enough to take that objective with a few members of risky behavior. No mana, but still around.
It would be a really risky fight right there. They knew that Burly Men, risky behavior knew that Burly Men would probably try to consider something like that afterwards, so they were in a position to actually fight back if they wanted to. And also, risky behavior, although they were low on mana, they've got enough rotational power to get back and get a few characters back in position as well. At the same time, the people who have enough mana, such as FaymousHate and Wubbn, were lurking around the corners. It wasn't going to be a safe pickup there for the Burly Men, and well, some of their health bars were a little too low. It would have been possible, but it would have been a very, very risky play, especially one especially a little too risky when you're this far behind as the Burly Men right now.
So Wukong took the first tower of the game at about 7 minutes, and now he's actually sharing the XP and gold with the mid camps, but unfortunately no love for the support, who did try to come around the corner to get some XP and gold, and unfortunately they didn't give any over to him. But they are going to look towards trying to get a kill over in the middle lane. He misses the pull, which could have set up something, and actually, you look over the active slots, only 2 beads on the side of, hold on, there's the blink, there's the Defender of Olympus, there is the Serqet saving her teammate, but is that going to be enough? And yes, Janus actually able to escape there, and I feel like the disengage is a good call for the members of Risky Behavior, but Burly Men actually are getting turned around on and could die very quickly here. So Wukong is looking for it, but Athena is a bit too far away, so they're just going to turn their attention back over to this Cabrakan, who is taking a beating from the entirety of Risky Behavior, and he is forced to leave, but unfortunately not going to be able to do so. FaymousHate going to just secure that kill with his Valkyrie's discretion, and then back off. All members of Risky Behavior a little bit too low and a little bit too lacking of cooldowns to be able to continue that fight.
And just like that, Risky Behavior continued to snowball in their favor. Burly Men, they've banked on winning that early game, but Risky Behavior, they fire back plenty of shots, and they're now rocking their way on through this one. And Burly Men, it's going to be a real uphill struggle, especially with their draft, and now they're falling behind in the early game. With a draft that wanted to win the early game, I don't know if they're going to have enough potential to pull on through. This is the thing.
They still have, certain
key
key spots that they can... Yeah, they still have certain key spots that they can really rally behind to get something done, but I think one of the biggest weaknesses they're suffering from is that Cabrakan is getting absolutely bullied. He's 0-3 right now, 1 assist in his person, actually sitting really low in terms of, in terms of player damage on the overall map. Second highest on his team, but still pretty darn low for where you expect a solo lane Cabrakan to be. However, Wukong is making his presence known all across the map now. He's started to make rotations, make plays, dissuade fights that could have been advantageous for Burly Men, and that's why the solo matchup is so important sometimes, because when you're farming for a good majority of your laning phase, when you come out of your laning phase, you are going to probably have the biggest impact just because most of what you did was farm. Fire Giant is spawning now, so we've reached the 10-minute marker of the game, and this is probably where things are going to start to get interesting as we, get closer to the mid-game point.
Yeah, as we get closer to the mid-game here, actually Risky Behavior starting up their ward control as well, so Burly Men lost one of their big chances in early gold for here. They're still going to try to find rotations, though. Risky Behavior, they actually catch the Junipera right there, and Skeeledon giving an absolute massacre here as Junipera just going to be slaughtered by the team of Risky Behavior here. Repap now joining the party. He's trying to unleash his burst damage, but FaymousHate lurking and looking here. Skeeledon going to be forced away by the sun rain of Lou right there, but all it's going to do is dissuade further engagement. Suku coming close to the steal, but not nearly enough out of BootyCallJones right there. Red buff going back the way of XenoTronics, and Risky Behavior. They're off to a great start here. It's now up 6-0, a 5,000 gold lead almost as Wubbn. He's going for the fight here, interrupts Repap out of his dash away. This is a guaranteed kill, and FaymousHate's the one to secure that. This should be a guaranteed gold period.
Yeah, no Holy Ultimate available. He's not going to be able to use that. And oh man! They actually were able to get a kill on the Wukong with the combined effort of Awilix and the Cabrakan, who are now making their way over to the Gold Fury. It still is not below half health, but it should be gone by the time they get there. So that's going to be Gold Fury going over to Risky Behavior. First kill of the game for Burly Men happening over in the solo lane to Wukong, but I don't think Wukong feels all that bad about it. However, the rest of the team members of Risky Behavior are in an awkward spot here, and Janus just used the portal to separate himself. Awilix finds the ultimate onto Sylvanus with no mana, so he's not going to be able to find the response ultimate of his own and knock up everybody for a pretty good rebound team fight.
And luckily for them, XenoTronics also in the area dealing plenty of damage there, enough to actually dissuade further engagement from the Burly Men right there. And he's been on top of these unstable vortexes, hitting double taps from them. XenoTronics has been an incredible performance right here, and so far he's looking for more. There's Pomponius, almost arrives with the 72 transformations, not quite landing it though. Will get his slows going though, and that's exactly what he wants, so he'll start to put the screws towards Burly Men right there.
So XenoTronics has actually, as you mentioned, been doing a good job. However, there was a couple of funny moments where Unstable Vortex didn't match up with the the Serqet ultimate, but that's a little hard one to make. But over in the solo lane, we're actually going to see Defender of Olympus used, as the blue buff was stolen by the members of Risky Behavior. Now Serqet as well as Wukong are in a really awkward spot. They should be able to get out, potentially. No taunt available from Athena. In fact, they might be able to actually turn this fight back around. Athena in a dangerous spot. She's going to be taken out by Wukong. 72 transformation onto Cabrakan, who is now sitting 1 and 4. He's going to be probably feeling a little discouraged after this performance so far in this game. It's going to be really hard for him to get back into the game. However, it looks like Risky Behavior is not done yet.
Yeah, Risky Behavior is so far from done, it seems. Just leveraging their composition against Burly Men. They're rotating every chance they get towards a major objective. And even though they just took quite a few buffs away, actually, Burly Men did secure their own blue buff here, but it didn't matter. They lost the ensuing fight, and they're about to lose another tower here. Pomponius getting the zoning done. 72 transformations not connecting, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't even need to right there. Burly Men forced completely back here, as now Risky Behavior looking to rotate around, catch BootyCallJones out at his own speed buff here. It is secured by BootyCallJones, but it's not like they can actually take it away here, so it will be kept under wraps by Risky Behavior.
Nope.
BootyCallJones, he's trying to survive, and he will work around here, but through space and time connecting right into a vortex. Valkyrie's Discretion going to finish this kill off, as now the rest of Burly Men are trapped in a tight corridor. There's so much damage coming out of Risky Behavior. The AoE is good, a taunt in, but it's not enough. Portal going to connect. Pucmm falling so low. Pomponius just needs one more shot. The Bluestone will do it if he can find it, but he's out of mana and he's out of time. He's got to back away from this one, but they've pushed the rest of Burly Men away from the tower. Risky Behavior, they're taking the first tier 2 of the game just like that.
And then there might be a response tier 2 tower, as He has been religiously split pushing over in the dual lane. However, Wukong able to immediately resolve that issue and just get right back over there. They want to try and push this Phoenix, but that may be a little bit too ambitious for the members of Risky Behavior, as they are going to immediately lose Skeeledon for that over aggression. And they're in a strong potential to lose more. Janus finds it a little hard to use his own portals. But yeah. Good overall start by Risky Behavior. Bad finish. Not sure why they wanted to try and greedily take that Phoenix.
It was a bit too much of a risky play right there, and a bit too much risky behavior out of that team. So, all in all, it came close, but it might end up punishing them even more here, as now Burly Men look to secure a tower here. Pomponius getting incredibly aggro right now, needs to go to that ultimate as soon as he can.
Whoa!
He's up on his cloud, but here comes the rest of Risky Behavior. The cavalry has arrived here, and now they're looking to put down the foot on the Burly Men here, and this should be a kill. Going over on the Lou right here, he dive bombs over to the mid camps here, gonna get caught by a portal, and he will fall to the vortex here as Pomponius gets one little tick onto him. That'll be more than enough to secure the kill now. Meanwhile, BootyCallJones sitting in the jungle, backing out just in time here. Risky Behavior, they may have lost something there, but they will push Burly Men away before they can secure a tower.
No vision on Fire Giant, and it looks like that is going to be the call as they started up. Janus was the one initially tanking in, so he's going to back off. That was a bit too much damage, but now the rest of the teammates are here. Serqet acting as kind of a living ward, but you look at the map right now. Just look at all the sentry wards that are near the back part of Burly Men's jungle, and they're still keeping this so far. Here comes the jump. There's the Defender of Olympus doing a lot of damage onto Serqet, who's going to hop out for a moment. The Fire Giant is still wreaking havoc. Valkyrie's Discretion is enough damage to get rid of Booty Call, and they're gonna just go ahead and leash it off. Find the damage onto Junipera. Looking over towards Cabrakan. He's not going to be able to escape anytime soon. In fact, he's probably going to die here. Nope. Separates himself with the ultimate, but yanked right back in.
Yeah, Wubbn landing a great pull right there. Pucmm actually leveraging his walls quite nicely here. Lou looking for the dive bomb out. He'll take his way out away from Wubbn, but, well, there's a FaymousHate waiting for you on the backside right there. A surrender vote kicks off, as unfortunately Burly Men, they needed to win that early game, and they just couldn't. Risky Behavior, they had the team comp, and, well, they carried through with it and played it out quite perfectly there. That'll be the first game going over to Risky Behavior at 16 minutes in. Burly Men falling short in game 1.
I mean, we talked about in the early game. We said, all right, well, this looks like a game that might have been decided in the picks and pans, and I think that I can still stand by that. I can still stand by that statement.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much straight up decided in picks and pans. If Burly Men wanted to win this, they picked a comp that needed to win so early on and snowball so hard they could not afford to get behind even the slightest. And Risky Behavior, they played better in the laning phase, and their pick and ban was all around a much better trick here, I'd say. So, unfortunately for the Burly Men, their attempt at the early Fire Giant and that early Gold Fury and that early play just didn't work out at all, because Risky Behavior, they played incredibly well in the early game with a better team comp.
So we're just going to go ahead and get right into game 2. I mean, there's nothing really left to be said here. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment as we get these teams set up.